Okay, TLB time.
Yeah.
And following our commons and uncommons set review, we are now moving into the nitty gritty with archetype discussion. Now we're really, I mean, first we looked at all the cards and you could get some stuff out of that.
Yeah, looked at commons and uncommons,
Which will be the most of the cards that you see actually during the pre-release. But now we're going to look at all the uncommons for each color pair, which usually, I mean, they don't always get it right, but they usually, some of them really hint about what the color combination is doing, and some of them are just a random creature.
I mean, we're used to that being the case, at least.
Yeah.
That the gold uncommons, they represent kind of what the colors are doing.
They have done that as a thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes, obviously, they cannot do it perfectly.
No.
But enough about that. We start off with the first color pair, I think.
Yes.
It's white-blue, which is... the uncommon is Aven Wind Guide, a 2/3 flying vigilance, which is Alabaster Keyring, for example, always like a playable sea level card.
Yeah.
If you can, I guess, control the board, it ships off for 2 each turn.
Yeah, it's fine on its own.
You would play it, but it would not be insane.
No.
It has some more text with creature tokens you control have flying and vigilance.
Yeah, that could obviously be very good.
It's good because blue-white is cares about Embalm, and this also has Embalm, which is for in this case 4 and white and blue, 6 mana. You can create a token that's a copy of itself with the same card, but it's a zombie.
Yeah.
Overbird warrior in this case, but it has the same text, flying, vigilance, tokens.
It basically does the same, but you exile the card and it's no more.
Yeah. So so blue-white seems to be about Embalm. So first of all, I'm going to tell you 2 white cards that can go into this, and you're going to show us 2 blue cards. So the first white card, and we have 1 uncommon and 1 common for each color pair.
Yeah.
So the white uncommon that could go in the Embalm deck is Oketra's Attendant, which is a 5 mana 3/3 flying, which is fine. It also has cycling, which makes it even better, and it has Embalm. So we have talked about this earlier. Even if you cycled it early, you can still get the effect of the card later.
Yeah, it's very good.
And if you cast it once, they kill it, you can cast it again.
Yep.
So just a very good card that I guess all the white decks will play, but together with caring about if you care about tokens somehow, even, I mean, the Embalmed version gets even better. And we have a common, just a solid playable Unwavering Initiate. It's a 3 mana 3/2 vigilance, which is a fine card, and Embalm 5.
Yeah, same thing here. We talked about it before, and most of the white decks would pick this up, even if you are, I mean, I don't know, going wide or super aggressive or whatever.
Red, white, aggro.
This is just a very good card anyway.
Yeah, but we're looking at Embalm and moving on to blue.
So first we have on uncommon a card called Labyrinth Guardian. So it's 2 mana 2/3, but when it becomes, and that's good, but when it becomes target of a spell, you have to sacrifice it.
But it's not like the regular illusions, because that always says
ability,
spell or ability.
Yeah.
So this is better. They cannot tap it and kill it, or do whatever.
No. And it still also it also has Embalm.
Pretty cheap for 4 mana.
Yeah, and the Embalm thing says the same thing.
Yeah.
So it becomes the target of a spell, you sacrifice it. But I mean, if you cast a spell on it, it's probably a removal spell, or so it's still they're still down a card.
And even if they cast a bounce spell or a pump spell, it's a pump spell that they don't get.
Exactly.
And you still have half the card left.
Yeah.
So I think this, for being a blue illusion, it's pretty high upside.
And on common we have a card we have talked about before, Aven Initiate, probably the best blue common. So 4.
It's solid. I don't remember them all, but
there's one that's better.
Yeah, the cycling Drake.
Yeah. So 4 mana for a 3/2 flyer, and it has Embalm for 6 and a blue.
Yeah, both of them are good.
Yeah.
And as usual, I guess in blue-white you can have a sub-theme of some flying guys. But it's more about Embalm here.
Yeah, it is.
So that's it for blue-white. We're moving on to... That's all for white, blue. Yeah, move on to white-black. Your turn.
Okay, so we have the signpost uncommon gold card called Wayward Servant. I almost said servant.
Yeah, we were starting giggling about stuff.
Okay, sorry. So this is a 2-mana 2/2, so white-black for a 2/2 zombie. And I guess that's not great.
Big.
No. But it has the ability that whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So I guess, if this triggers twice, I guess it's okay.
Yeah, then it's good. But it triggers off Embalm, it triggers off casting regular zombies. So yeah, it is good. It's upside for sure.
Yeah, but it's not like, whoa.
No, but if you can hit with it once maybe and then get 2 drain triggers from a 2
yeah,
drop,
sure.
I think it's
fine.
In the zombie deck, even you could maybe get, if they don't kill it, maybe you can get 5 triggers.
Yeah, that's better. And for the white uncommon, we have a card called Time to Reflect. So, and this is obviously awesome in the zombie deck. It's white.
It is instant. Like impeccable timing, but it's cheaper and can kill bigger stuff.
Yeah, you exile. That's also relevant.
Okay, so
target creature that blocked or was blocked by a zombie this turn.
So in the white-black zombie deck, it has a lot of upside.
Yeah, and if you're not playing with zombies, if you have like 2 of them or 3, I don't think you're gonna play this card.
No.
You have to have at least 7. 8.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But in the white-black deck, it should be good.
It should be. And on common, Binding Mummy, so 2-mana 2/2, another one. And this says whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, you may tap target artifact or creature.
And it looks like also, white-black zombies looks like it's an aggressive archetype. It even is, there is a white pump spell that pumps zombies.
Yeah.
So maybe it's good there.
It could be. The trigger is relevant if you are attacking. Otherwise, it's just a 2-mana 2/2, and I don't know how good the 2-mana 2/2s are in this format.
But there should be support for maybe 1 or 2 aggressive archetypes, and I think white-black is trying to be that.
And if you have the next card as well.
Yeah, because if we look at some black, in black there are more cards that says zombie on them on the front. Mm-hmm. In white there weren't that many.
No,
there were like 2 or 3, but they have Embalm instead.
Yep.
So black has the Lord, which is Lord of the Accursed. It's a classic Lord, 3-mana, 2/3 in this case, that pumps all zombies, including embalmed creatures.
Classic Lords are 2-mana, aren't they?
No, they're 3. It's only merfolk that get 2 for some reason. Goblin King, all the elves, and one of the merfolks are all 3-mana.
Yeah, sure.
Knight. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm right, you're wrong. Lord of the Accursed, at least. Zombie Lord pumps all zombies and has a pretty relevant ability. You can give everything menace and just attack, which also signifies that it is about aggression.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, just a good aggressive Lord. And another, uncommon, there are some other zombies as well, but this is flying, which also is pretty aggressive, and you can give it haste, which is also aggressive. It's the Blighted Bat, 3-mana 2/1 flying that you can give haste.
Yeah, not awesome or anything, but as you said, it's a zombie, so
if they gum up the ground, this could maybe get in the last 4 damage, for example. You'll play it in the deck.
Yeah, you will.
So to sum it up, black, white, zombie, aggro, tribal,
some Embalm, some zombies, some cool tricks. I don't know.
So move on, I guess, to white, red. So white, red, or Boros on this plane, looking at Honored Crop Captain, which is a 2-mana 3/2. Already there you see aggression, and it also has the triggered ability. If it attacks, you can pump your whole team +1/+0. The attacking creatures. So it's aggressive stats and an aggressive go wide type ability.
Yeah.
So what red-white seems to care about is, first of all, going wide, and second of all, I guess, pumping your wide team.
Yeah, this is a typical Boros card.
And there's like a sub-theme of Exert within both colors. You can have like something that cares about maybe Exert and untapping, but it's not really red-white, but it can be a sub-theme.
Yeah.
And looking at a white uncommon, no common. Okay, I guess I picked 2 commons. I don't know why, but because I didn't really find a good white uncommon that was about going wide. But we have the Tarkrop Elite, which is a 4-mana 2/2 flying, and when it attacks, you can exert it, and then you can pump your whole team +1/+1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it cares about going wide, and if you look at the few ways that you can actually produce tokens. Because there's only the camel that's a 5-drop that if you have a tapped creature you can get a 3/5, but that's not aggressive.
No, it's not,
and it's not really for a going wide strategy. It's more about blocking.
I don't think so. Yeah.
So and there isn't like 2-mana. There isn't Rally the Peasants or cards like that. Or no, not Rally the Peasants.
There are cards like Rally the Peasants.
Yeah, there are a lot of cards like Rally the Peasants that pumps your whole team.
Yeah,
but there aren't anything that 2-mana create 2 tokens.
No.
Or
Raise the Alarm.
Raise the Alarm was what I was searching for. But if you look at the white Cartouche, for example, it's just 1 mana for an aura that creates a token on the side.
Yeah, and it is relevant that you give your attacking creatures first strike.
So it goes well in I guess it makes something more aggro on the same time it goes a bit wide.
You can put this on your on the 3/2 that gives everything +1/+0.
Yeah, and have it being on the captain.
That's a better attacker.
But we found an uncommon that can go into the theme with Orchestra's Monument. Because there you get, so white creature spells cost 1 less. Maybe then you can cast more creatures going wide that way. Mm-hmm. And while you're doing it, you get a bonus token.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is basically the way.
And it's a pretty good way, I would say. I mean, this card is good.
Yeah, but if you don't have the Monument, I think then you just have to have a very low curve, maybe 15 or 16 lands, and try to go wide by casting the spells.
Because there are a lot of
usual way.
2-mana and 3-mana.
Yeah, and then have them survive until you can cast a pump spell. Because otherwise, why do you want 5 anthems in the deck?
No, you don't.
There's not really a lot of support for this archetype, I think.
But in red,
if you look at red,
we have an uncommon in On-Crop Crasher. So it's a 3-mana 3/2 haste. So that's aggressive, I guess. And you can exert it and say something can't block.
So we turn. Picked it because it's aggro.
I mean, it's aggro and it can do damage while saying your opponent can't block.
Yeah, but it doesn't go wide, but it's aggressive.
It's aggressive. And for common, we have a 2-drop. As we said before, you need a lot of 2 drops.
You probably need to fill your deck with a lot of these.
Yeah. And this is a 2-mana 2/1 with trample, so it can get relevant if you pump.
Yeah, that's good with the +2/+1 effects and stuff like that.
And it also has the ability that if you exert it, or you may exert it, to give it +1/+2, so it can attack as a 3/3, I guess.
Yeah, but that turn where you, for example, cast your whole team gets +2/+1, you can timely exert this guy. So it can hit as a 5/4.
Yeah.
So maybe you're trying to just cast small guys and go for an alpha strike. I don't know. I don't really think there's enough support. You want the 3-drops that maybe creates a 2/1 and a 1/1 on the side.
I agree.
Those type of cards for Boros Go Wide to be a good archetype. Mm-hmm. But maybe everyone else is so clunky that you can go under them anyway.
Maybe.
We'll see. But it's not like a favorite for me so far.
Neither.
So that was white red. We have white green next.
Mm-hmm. So for the gold card, we have On-Crop Champion. There's crop. I don't know what that is. No. A lot of cards named crop.
Yeah, but I noticed something else that's coming back too. So I don't know. Okay. There are a lot of weird stuff.
Crop stuff.
The Javelineers.
Oh yeah,
everyone is a Javelineer, and we cannot pronounce we don't know if it's Javeliner or Javelineer. We tried Google several different sites, and they're saying Javeliner and Javelineer.
I think it's Javelineer.
Yeah, Javelineer is fine for me too.
So this is a 4-mana 4/4. So 2 green, white, 4/4. That's good.
Good.
And you can exert this if you do, when it attacks, and if you do, you can untap all other creatures you control. So basically, green-white wants to have creatures, and if they have Exert,
they get better
with this card, obviously. So it's like creatures Exert.
Yeah, white green often has a hard time showing its true,
except when it's tokens.
Yeah. When it's tokens, it works.
Yeah, but
otherwise we always so the revolt that didn't do anything.
No,
white green often has like an identity crisis.
But both white and green, they have a lot of Exert guys.
But red too.
I know, but they have a lot of Exert guys, and if you have cards like this, and we will show you there are other untapped cards.
Yep.
Then I think this deck can be something.
Yeah, but it's not like it's screaming out like this is the perfect deck.
No, it's not. No, it's not. So moving on to the white cards, for example, white uncommon, we have a card called Vizier of Deferment. So that's 3 mana 2/2 flash, which I guess is fine. But when it enters the battlefield, you may exile target creature if it attacked or blocked this turn. And so basically, if you exert, if you exert, you can flicker it and it becomes untapped again, or it can, I don't know, kill tokens.
Yeah, I mean, it's decent against, I guess, Embalm creatures too.
Yeah,
or their backsides.
Sure,
but it's not perfect, but it could, if you really want to untap your guy. I guess you can use this. I just realized that if you do it on their end step, our guy didn't attack, so you have to do it in your own turn. Yeah, if you want to, but it still untaps.
It untaps. And then on common we have Ret Crop Spearmaster, so it's a 3 mana 3/1.
Why isn't it throwing the spear like a javelineer?
Because it's a master. Masters doesn't throw away their spears.
No, they're holding it.
And this you exert and it gets +1/+0 and first strike. So if you can untap this, or I don't know, flicker it so it untaps, it will attack as a 4/1 first strike. And that's
if it can attack as a 4/1 first strike for few turns, they have to either take 8 or start jump blocking, I guess. Yeah. Because it comes pretty early. There are some other commons that exert in white too, but this is an example. And for green, we have one more way to untap stuff. If you have a lot of exert going on, you can synchronized strike them. Maybe you attack with 2 or 3 guys, they block. You have also buffed them because you exerted and they line up some major blocks because they want to kill one of them.
And I mean, you can just attack with you can buff with exert and then you can untap it and give them +2/+2, so it's just like a bonus buff.
Yeah, you can either attack with like a green guy that gets +2/+2 and the white guy that gets +1/+0. They don't block.
No.
And then either you pump them now if you can get in for enough damage to you have them dead on board or something, or you can just wait and then maybe they try to raise you and then you untap your guys, block, and then next turn your big guys can attack. So in a deck with, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 or 8 exert guys, maybe synchronized strike is more than just a nice trick.
Exactly.
And another example of an exert guy that goes here, you have Hooded Brawler. There are a lot of Nagas.
Could be a
blue
girl.
and green. Yeah, but did I say he?
No, you said guy.
Okay, guy. Okay, so maybe it's a girl. 3 mana 3/2, and you can exert it for +2/+2. So just bread and butter
attack,
exert guy.
3 mana attack.
Or girl.
5/4. I mean, it's hard.
And there are some other cards with exert in white and green, and there might be there is like another green trick that can untap and give reach and stuff like that.
Yes.
So maybe we just have to settle with green white being the exert deck. Who knows? So this was white green. We're moving on to blue black.
Yep.
Yeah, blue black. So we have Shadow Storm Vizier, which is a 2 mana 1/3 flying, and when you cycle or discard, the creature gets +1/+1. And I mean, the creature itself, I think it's just pretty mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, this used to be a common.
Yeah, and so what it does is that it tells us that blue-black cares about cycling and discarding, but it's not really holding the fort on its own.
No.
It's not going in front with a banner.
No.
This is playable, but not more.
Yeah, maybe it can attack for 2 a few times.
The effect should have been a bit
Plus
more
2,
permanent.
Plus 2.
Yeah. Either bigger or do something more relevant than just fading away.
Yeah.
Because you're down. I'm not high on it, but looking at other cards, we have a pretty good effect that could go either in a ramp deck or ramp you in this deck. You have another Vizier of Tumbling Sands. 3 mana 1/3. You can tap this to untap target permanent, which makes it, if you want to, just untap a land and ramp you for a turn.
Yeah.
And if you have other, I guess, ramp cards or cards with tap effects, you can reuse them, obviously. If you have Exert, you can Exert again, and so on. It itself has cycling, which is good in this deck, and it cares about cycling because you can untap multiple permanents if you cycle stuff. So yeah, just a utility creature that goes extra well in this deck, but it's also fine in another blue deck.
Okay.
On common, I mean, there are several cards with cycling that are pretty good in both blue and black, I think.
Yeah.
But if we just choose one of them, Shimmerscale Drake, 5 mana 3/4. We had the wrong picture, I think, in the last, but here you have the right one. 5 mana 3/4 flying with cycling 2.
But if I put the wrong one again?
No, don't do it. I guess this time we hope that it's not the uncommon Drake. So, yeah, we have seen this before, and it's just a good card.
Yeah, it is.
And obviously, if you can get even more value from cycling, it's just better. What do you have on black, Jimmy boy?
Black on uncommon, we have a really cool card, especially in this deck. So it's 1 mana for a 1/2, and whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1. If you do, put a -1/-1 counter on target permanent.
So it's like a AK-47.
Even if you only have like, I don't know, 6 or 7 cycle cards, this will still be good. Because if you can use this twice or 3 times, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, and you can pick off some small stuff or win combat.
It's just super annoying to have
if it's
this
out. They cannot block your 3/3s with their 3/3s and 2/2s and whatever.
And 4/4s with
and 4/4s. They cannot block. No, they cannot do that. So I mean, it's like when people have stuff like Blood Artist and just worldly effects sitting there doing annoying stuff.
And I feel like this is going to kill me once or twice on the pre-release.
Or your 4/4s. If you block their 4/4s, then they're probably doing it. Yeah.
And on common, we have my favorite card, Horror of the Broken Lands.
The longest name in Magic's history.
But this pretty much says it all. So it's a 5 mana 4/4.
Yeah.
And when you cycle or discard another card, it gets +2/+1.
What does that? What gets that?
Horror of the Broken Lands.
Horror of the Broken Lands. Okay.
And you can cycle Horror of the Broken Lands for 1 mana. And 1 mana cyclers are the best ones.
Yeah, and I love when there are cards that just does the thing that we're trying to explain.
Yeah, exactly.
So Horror of the Broken Lands, you're doing it.
We love you, man.
So that was all for blue-black. Now we're moving to blue-red.
Okay. So the gold card for blue-red, we have Enigma Drake.
Yeah.
1 blue-red dragon flyer.
No, Drake.
A Drake. It's a flyer.
Yeah.
It's star 4. So it could be whatever, but it always has 4 toughness. And it says that its power is equal to the number of instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard.
Instant N.
Instant and sorcery cards, of course. So this is basically blue-red care about spells.
Yeah, the archetype is saying that. And yeah, if you can jam a bunch of... And it doesn't look great on the surface.
I want to draft this deck.
Yeah, because we want to try to have 1 or 2 drakes and just jam spells and see if it's good.
7 drakes.
Yeah, but it's uncommon. You're not doing it. Maybe you could get 4, who knows?
Or 7.
But what does blue give you?
Blue, we have a card called Gale Strike on uncommon. So 2 in a blue for an instant. And I mean, I like this card on the surface because it returns target tap
Why
creature.
does it fit in this deck?
Because it's a spell, it's an instant, and it cycles or whatever. You draw a card.
Yeah.
So
and you're usually maybe a bit defensive or
in the beginning. Yeah, in the beginning.
So it's pretty perfect. I mean, when you could play blue-green tempo, I guess a few cycles back, there was like a sorcery that just said bounce target creature, draw a card. I loved that card. And here maybe you're sitting back a bit, being a bit defensive or controlling in the beginning, and then you're trying to, when you have filled up your graveyard, you can win with the flyers.
Your Drake could be a 1/4 by this.
Yeah, and if you get the Gale Strike in the graveyard, but you still want more gas. You just want to fill up the graveyard, and Gale Strike does that for you.
And on common, another one of these cards, Winds of Rebuke. So 2 mana instant this time. And it returns target non-land permanent to its own hand. So it's bounce, but you can also bounce an artifact or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you also mill both players. So if you, for example, mill an instant as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you're filling up your graveyard with
and you could build your deck so that you actually have some embalm creatures or stuff like that.
You will probably always have an embalm creature.
So either you could get instance down for your drakes if you have them, or maybe you hit embalm creatures which you could get value from later.
Yes.
So, and I guess red. We have another guy or girl that cares about Warfire. No, it's a Javeliner. Javelineer. It's a Javelineer. Warfire Javelineer. A 4-mana 2/3. And when it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to target creature an opponent controls, where X is the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. So again, if you have 2, it's good.
Yeah.
Then it's like a Mardu Heart Piercer.
Yes.
4 mana 2/3, shoot 2.
I mean, I want a deck with just Javelineers and the Drakes.
Yeah, and maybe some cheap embalm guys.
Just instant and sorceries.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to try it. So Javelineer, here you go. And we also have, just as a placeholder, Magma Spray, because this deck will need instants and sources that are removal or stalls out the game.
Yep.
So either you can play Electrify, 4 mana deal 4, or Magma Spray, 1 mana deal 1. 2. But you could also exile maybe cheap embalm guys. You just need this to have a functioning deck.
Yeah, and both red and blue have a few of these commons and uncommon spells. So but sometimes blue-red spells are really good. Yeah.
And sometimes they are unplayable. And we like it when they are really good.
And there are even prowess creatures in this set.
Yeah, so. Very few though.
Yeah, there are some.
You cannot count on getting rares and stuff like that. So,
no.
Yeah, there are pretty few. So blue-green then, what is that all about? Yeah, I'm going to tell you now. It's because we have the uncommon here, Weaver of Currents. 1 blue-green for 2/2, which is but it's pretty cool because it ramps you double colorless.
Yeah, it adds 2.
So we have already acknowledged that. I mean, on turn 3 you play this guy. We're not even going to think that you have played the other ramp guy on 2 here.
No,
you're just playing this guy, and on turn 4 you're playing your 4th land drop and you're casting a 6 mana 6/7 hexproof.
Yeah,
that's the dream.
That's the dream. But I think it's I mean,
this is going to happen. It's going to happen a lot of times if you're blue-green, because it basically ramp and payoff. We can call it, because you here you play the big spells. You can ramp with common guys in green. Yeah. You can ramp with uncommon guys in Simic.
Yes. And
you can actually ramp with uncommon guys in blue as well.
Yeah,
if you have untapped guy. So that guy also works.
And there is payoff creatures in this set.
Yeah, and you can also play. There are big cyclers. There is 7 mana in blue that we're going to look at. No, we're not going to look at it, but it is it is a confiscate effect.
Yeah.
Which costs 1 more here. Then confiscate is 6 mana, you control enchanted permanent. Now there's 7 mana control enchanted permanent, but it's also cycling for 2. And there is a 7 mana 7/7 in green that's also a cycling. So you can actually have the blue untapper be ramp, and because you can cycle your big stuff if you really need to. Maybe you can cast other stuff.
You can untap the Weaver of Currents.
Yeah, and I was going to come to that, because if you have just the other blue guy out, you can tap this for 2, untap this guy, tap it again. Then you have 4 mana in
turn 4.
2 creatures. So yeah, I mean, I usually like Simic, I usually like green, and I usually like ramp.
So
payoff. We're looking at some payoff in blue first. Here we have, as I said, we could have taken the confiscate, but we choose a cooler card in Angler Drake.
Yeah, because if you can power this out a few turns earlier, then it's
you can cast this on turn 4 without problem.
Yeah, and if you can cast this turn 4, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, turn 4.
I mean, this is Mistraven, but it's a 4/4. Instead of a 2/2.
Yeah, and when you cast Mistraven on turn 4 in a powerful format like Modern Masters, you were happy.
Yeah, you were super happy.
This you could, I mean, without, okay, obviously you need the Weaver, but if you are in this archetype, you might have 2 Weavers.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Yeah, but it's not impossible in any means.
No.
And then you can just power out Angler Drake turn 4, and they have to deal with the flyer as well, while being set back.
Yeah.
So I love this card, but who wouldn't? I guess those who play against it.
No, they won't. They don't love it.
And if you just look at blue, I mean, you could choose card draw spells or whatever, but we can also look at something that costs a lot. That's also fitting in like a sort of tempo theme, which also is a sub theme for blue green. There are flash, there are some instants that tap and bounce and so on, which is often pretty good when you have big guys that you want to get through. So Floodwater, 6 mana, bounce 2 guys, and you can also cycle it. Pretty great. If you're mana screwed, you just cycle. If you have all your mana, you want something to put them on. Or into.
And on green, for the uncommon, the card we were talking about, the 6 mana 6/7 hexproof Scaled Behemoth.
So that's the second dream. If Angler Drake was the dream, Scaled Behemoth is close.
Yeah, I think
they will be pretty annoyed if you play this on turn 4 as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a big problem for most decks.
Let's say you play this on turn 4. Turn 5, you could have 7 mana. You can play a 4-drop and the green cartouche
of strength.
Yeah.
I mean, if you play this turn 4, I don't think you can beat it. Because
it will be pretty hard.
You have to triple block it or something.
You can...
you can't even play the black trial because you will have other creatures out. You have the ramp creature out.
Yeah, so they can't even make you sack it.
No.
I guess if they end step kill your mana guy,
the stars must align.
Yeah, it really has to. But yeah, this is much harder to deal with than for example the white flyer, because that guy you could put pacifism on,
or exile it,
or the blue you make it an O2 or exile it. This not being able to target stuff is so annoying. I mean, you will pull your hair.
It's like playing against Tron.
I'm a Tron player.
And on green common we have the other ramp guy, Naga Vitalist.
Yeah.
So 2 mana 1/2, but it adds 1 mana from the land you control.
And now, if you compare it to the last set, which turned out to be pretty aggressive, Aether Revolt, then the tapper for mana, because there wasn't a lot of payoff.
No.
So you ramping actually just made you maybe cast your 5-drop.
Yeah.
But then it didn't do much.
No, it didn't.
Now you will have more than enough to spend your mana on. So I think Naga Vitalist will be top 2 green commons.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe even the best.
Yeah.
I guess Cartouche is common, so second best.
In a mana hungry set, you will want this creature.
Yeah, this would be great. So this was blue-green.
Blue-green.
So we're moving on now to black-red.
And the gold card for black-red is Merciless Javelineer.
No! Why is everyone a Javelineer?
I mean, to be honest, it's only been 2 Javelineers.
No, I think this is our third.
Maybe.
And I know that there are at least 9 more.
2 black, red for a 4/2, which is not great. I mean, it's aggressive.
Yeah, but you wouldn't play that.
No, you wouldn't.
But we can agree that it's aggressive.
It has a good ability. If you pay 2 and discard a card, you can put a -1/-1 counter on target creature, and it can't block this turn. So, I mean,
it's screaming aggro.
If you can, for example, it could be a board stall. You can pay 4 mana, discard 2 lands, put 2 -1/- counters and attack. I don't know.
And it might be a bit reminiscent to the Red God, because that is also caring about
discarding
and having few cards in hand.
Yeah.
So maybe this is like, I mean, it's aggressive, and the discard part here isn't like in blue-black that you get value.
No, you don't cycle or anything.
For cycling and stuff. This is more discard aggro.
We have found cards that are good when you have few cards in hand.
Few cards in hand, or something happens when you just discard.
Yeah.
Or they actually discard them themselves.
So it's like black, red, discard aggro.
Discard aggro is fine.
Mm-hmm. And if you move
late, if you just top deck lands, every land is a -1/-1 counter, and someone can't block.
If your curve stops at 5 and you have 8 lands on the battlefield or something, you're not going to play one more.
No.
I mean, you don't need it.
And then this is great.
Yes. And if you look at black uncommon, we have a card called Grimstrider. This is perfect for the example, because it's a 4-mana 6/6. And that's just amazing, obviously. But it gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand. So if you have no cards in hand, it is a 4-mana 6/6.
Yeah.
And this is the payoff by having
But
no
usually
cards.
on turn 4 you have maybe 2 or 3
Maybe
cards
2 or
in hand.
3, yeah.
But if you...
So this could be like a 4-mana 3/3 or 4-mana 4/4 or something like that.
I mean, if it's a 4-mana 4/4, it's pretty good if you're aggro. But
it
you
is.
want it to be maybe at least a 4-mana 5/5.
And you can attack with this and do stuff instant speed to pump it up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's a relevant creature for the archetype. And on common, we have Pitiless Vizier, 4-mana 4/2. And this says whenever you cycle or discard a card, it gains indestructible until end of turn.
And it's just another 4/2, a pretty aggressive attacker, and if they try to block it or maybe destroy it, you can make it indestructible by also making your hand smaller.
Yeah.
And this is actually a combo with Grimstrider. If you have them both out and just have a card or 2 in hand, you attack with both, you might discard it to the Vizier, because then you have an effect that says you can discard whenever you want to. No, not
Vizier.
Okay,
it's the Merciless Javelineer.
You're right.
Yeah.
But it's a combo with that, I guess.
Yes.
Because you want a way to on demand.
But you can see the synergy here with cards
exactly.
that cares about discarding or cycling.
That also wants to kill the opponent.
Yep.
And red, we saw, for example, you can play very aggressive card, Blood Rage Brawler, 2-mana 4/3, but it's similar to the old Skulk 3/3 that you have to discard a card when you play it.
Yeah. And I mean, sure, if you play
Pale
this...
Rider of Trostad was in Shadows over Innistrad.
Yeah, but if you play this on turn 2, then the discard isn't going to be relevant. But if you play this on turn 5, when you have 2 cards out that care about discarding, then it actually is relevant.
Plus, if your deck just wants to get stuff out of the hand, you might be fine just playing it on turn 2, discard something that you don't care just to be able to attack on next turn with a 4/3 because you are aggressive. And we also have a Thresher Lizard, a 3-mana 3/2, also aggro, and it gets +1/+2 as long as you have 1 or fewer cards in hand. So again, you want to empty your hand.
I mean, this could be a 3-mana 4/4,
which is good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Because usually the red 3-mana 4/4s has, whenever it attacks or blocks, sacrifice it at the end of combat.
Yeah.
And this is better.
This is better.
So yeah, we don't really see a lot of support for this archetype.
No,
to be honest.
I mean, there are a few cards, but they're not like...
But Rakdos, for me, I mean, after doing a few of these evaluations each set, Rakdos is also, if it's not all in aggro, or maybe some sort of sacrifice thing. It's going a bit back and forth between stuff, and it doesn't always come together.
No.
Okay, I guess it's some sort of aggro deck here, but yeah, fine.
We'll see if it works. We don't know.
So black-green then, I guess. Here we have a pretty cool gold card, the uncommon Decimator Beetle. It's a 5 mana, 4/5. We're on black-green now. When it enters the battlefield, put up -1/-1 counter on target creature. So it could be a 5 mana 3/4 if it doesn't have any other targets. But this helps out with the whole theme of the deck, which is about -1/-1 counters. Because when this attacks, you can remove a +1/+1 counter from a target, from another creature.
You control.
It could be itself.
Yes.
And while doing it, you can move it to your opponent's creatures. So that you want these cards that put -1/-1 counters. Some of them just do it because they would be too good itself. But sometimes you can, if they die, you can move them to the opponent. This guy can move it to the opponent. Yeah. Some of them can remove them themselves. So there are some synergies. You play undercosted stuff with good abilities, and you try to like unlock them, but with synergy.
Exactly.
That's
and I mean, this is a card that would pull me into these colors, I think. Yeah. Because the card in itself is probably, I mean, if just by looking at the gold cards, is one of the best ones.
Yeah, it's very good. Some of the gold cards are very good, and some of them are pretty mediocre. But this is a good one.
Yes.
Looking at some black cards that goes in the deck, we have Baleful Amit, a 3 mana 4/3 lifelink on the vanilla part, which is great. It enters the battlefield with a -1/-1 counter on target creature. So you could, for example, kill the Traveler, the 1/1, and make it a 2/2, which is a synergy. Or you put it on this, and then it's still fine. Or you put it on some other random card that you don't care about anymore.
Put it on a 2/2 that's not really relevant.
And if you can follow it up with a Beetle or the Camel, you can remove it and stuff like that. It's just a good card. I mean, lifelink is a great ability.
It is.
And a common guy that also goes here, Soul Stinger, 4 mana 4/5, but with the drawback of putting 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature. Again, a great combo if you can do it on something that you get value by doing it. But if it puts it on itself and dies later, you can move them to your opponent's creatures.
Yeah.
Which makes it a 4 mana 2/3, I guess, that could have built-in removal later.
And on green, we have on uncommon Exemplar of Strength. So 2 mana 1/1 when it enters the battlefield.
Because of the 3 -1.
Yeah, it gets 3
it could be a
4/4.
If you can put it on a 1/1.
Yeah, if you can.
Or
and whenever it attacks, you may remove 1 counter, a -1/-1 counter from it, and you gain 1 life. So this can be like a placeholder for the -1/-1 counters if you need to.
Yeah, and if this is your first play, on turn 2 you play this. Okay, it's a 2 mana 1/1. You're on play. They do nothing, and then you attack with it once. Then it's as a 2/2. And you gain a life, and next turn it will attack as a 3/3. They might not catch up, so they will be able to block.
No.
Then it will be close to Long Tusk Cub.
Yeah,
because if it grows up to a 4/4 without them doing anything, they might not have removal for it.
No.
So yeah, this is one of those cards that could win on its own.
It can.
And if they stumble on mana or mulligan to 5 or something,
then you can just run away with it.
Dead.
And on common, as you said before, the Camel, the Quarry Hauler.
Yeah, there it is.
So 4 mana for a 4/3, which is okay. It's it's better costed than the Summit Prowler.
Yeah, it's good.
Prowler.
Prowler.
But when it enters the battlefield, for each kind of counter, target permanent, you can either remove it or put another one. So let's say it has a +1/+1 counter on it, you can put another one.
Yeah.
Or if it's a -1/-1, you can remove it.
Yeah.
But you can also choose your opponent's creatures that has a -1/-1.
If you have been able to move a -1/-1,
this can double the counter.
Yeah. So Quarterhole looks like a great common in this deck.
I mean it's very good on curve as well. Coming out on turn 4.
Yeah, there will be good things they can follow.
Yeah.
We only have one archetype left, and it's red-green.
So for the gold card, in red-green we have Kenra Charioteer. Charioteer?
Yeah, Charioteer.
Charioteer. Another.
It's not a Javelinier, but it's a Charioteer. Everyone is just earring on this plane.
Yep. It's 3 mana, 3/3 with trample. And it gives your other creatures trample as well.
Gruul aggro.
Yeah.
Creatures.
It's still just a 3 mana, 3/3.
It's creatures. So it's you cast creatures and you win with creatures. Yeah, it's just Gruul aggro.
It's just Gruul aggro.
Nothing special, nothing synergistic.
No.
Cast your creatures and win.
Yeah. And if you look at the red creatures, because we're going to show some creatures, we have the On-Crop Crasher again. 3 mana, 3/2 haste.
Yeah, this deck wants it.
Yeah, it does. And on common, another Minotaur.
The same picture actually as the last one.
Pretty much looks exactly the same. But this is a 4 mana, 4/3. And when it attacks, you can exert it to give it +1/+1 and
5/4 mana is good.
It hits hard.
First it can hit as a regular, and then if they have a, I don't know, double block that's lining up for... I mean, maybe you go a bit wider and they start being able to double block, giving them menace and just attacking through.
Yeah.
I don't know. Green, a card that could go in black-green, obviously. But Crocodile of the Crossing, a 4 mana 5/4 haste with a drawback of putting a -1/-1 counter on target creature. But then it's still a 4 mana 4/3 haste.
Yeah, and that's why we think it's better in this.
Which is easier to cast Summit Brawler with haste.
Yeah.
So that's the downside. And the upside is that it can be even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And it works perfectly in this deck.
Yep.
And if you're Gruul aggro, you want 2 drops. We have shown you some red before. Mm-hmm. And in green here you have Initiate's Companion. 2 mana 3/1. And which could also, if it just goes through, ramp you the next turn.
Yeah.
So maybe you can cast the okay, maybe not a Charioteer, but a 4-drop.
I mean, it can't ramp you, but it can untap target creature that you have.
Or land.
Yeah, but you can't float the mana through the combat. I mean, sure, you can play like...
Okay, so maybe...
You can play like a 3-drop before combat and then play a 2-drop if you have 4 lands, for example.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe you can...
But it can
cast a 3-drop.
It can untap an Exert creature, for example. If you're aggressive and exerting. This can untap it.
Okay. Okay, that's true. So so it's more like a 2 mana 3/1.
I mean, it can ramp you with combat tricks, I guess.
Yeah, in some way. No, it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late.
It never ramps.
No.
So, yeah.
Bad companion.
So it's just aggro.
Yeah.
And yeah. Oh, we have a hidden bonus.
Yeah, wacky tobacco bonus deck that we've looked. Boom.
Yeah, and this is, I guess it's from a friend that has played the format a bit already on like some program that we never use. So your base blue, and you're trying to win by milling.
Yeah, it's a mill deck.
So you can play the 5 mana cycle mill 5 common. You can show the pictures while you're editing this. There's also the bounce spell that mills 2, which you can play because you want to buy time and you want to mill at the same time.
Yeah.
There's a 2/2 that when you cast it, it can return an instant or sorcery from the graveyard.
Or you sack it. You sack it to return an instant sorcery.
And then you can return a mill card or a bounce spell.
Yeah, you can block, and in the block you can sack it to return the mill card again.
Yeah. There's also a card that can get you back 2 cycle cards. Sacred Excavation.
Yeah, 3 in the blue sorcery, return up to 2 target cards.
Yeah,
with cycling.
So then you can return the mill cards. That's my point.
You can return them and play them again.
Yeah. And in this type of deck you play like the 1/5 crab, you play the 2/4 that can look at the top of your 3 cards and mill.
Yeah, the Naga.
And obviously, as we said, you can lock down, you can bounce, and stuff like that.
You want to survive and mill your opponent out.
Yeah, and our friend has said he got this to work. So maybe this will be hidden.
These cards, people don't want.
Yeah, the point is that they go very late.
I mean, the scribe of Mindful, 3 mana 2/2, sacrifice to return an instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. That's not.
You could play it in a red.
Yeah, but it's not a great card.
No, but I guess you could play it there. But the return cycling stuff, no one is rating them high.
No.
So you could just move into this. Because you could also have maybe your white-blue. You could be blue-based with a touch of white.
Yeah.
You could even have a zombie theme.
Yes.
And you can play the artifact that can mill with zombies. Yeah. And have all the cards that we have already said.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll have to try it. We haven't done it ourselves, but this is just a little bonus archetype.
Ever since I started playing Magic, I always wanted to play mill decks.
Yeah, I know you
I play grindstone. I made grindstone decks and stuff, and Kim always played Gruul and just killed me when I played them.
Yeah. So you cannot sit down and...
I'm going to try this.
So, but that's just a bonus. If someone makes it happen, you can tweet us or something. So we're trying to wrap up. It will be a pretty long video, I guess. But just comment if you have additions to the archetypes or if you have other insights.
Yeah.
Leave a like if you enjoyed the archetype discussion. It's fun for us.
I mean, when after the pre-release, please come back and tell us how it went.
We don't mind pictures of decks and stuff. We like that. So you can tweet us or
tweet us at the Loaded Brothers,
or just comment here if you played any of the archetypes and what worked for you. Yeah. We're super happy about that.
Hope you open a masterpiece or two.
Yeah, the invocations or whatever.
Yeah,
which I don't like, but that's another discussion. Let's send you home to edit this little masterpiece.
Okay.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.